Would the dream team lose against the 2024 Olympic team? And that's a mega facts frequently asked question that we gotta bust our frequency X out, our mega facts X. We call it a mega facts over here with these mega facts so we can ask these types of questions like we chopping wood, man. Paul Pierce absolutely obliterates Skip Bayless, and Keyshawn keeps on talking Thompson. Shout out to Keyshawn, man. It's these debates, fears, and things of that nature. When you're having to constantly get up there on that podium and debate and argue just to argue, you end up, you know, sounding very crazy and things of that nature, man. We're just gonna get right into it. Add a little bit of spicing, add some seasoning, some pepper on this cooking that, was properly served by Paul Pierce. But, he's a little older. Shout out to Paul Pierce. You know what I'm saying? Older people, they need to watch their salt and, sugar intake and things of that nature. We with the salt shaker, with this cooking over here with these mega facts. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Paul Pierce, you know.
You said this Team USA would dominate Michael Jordan's 1992 Dream Team. Did yesterday's performance at all alter your opinion?
Not at all, Skip. The 92 team was playing against carpenters and fishermen. I mean, come on. I mean, it was like a couple NBA players in the Olympics at that time that was on the international side. I mean,
listen, 6 NBA players that the Dream Team faced, and there's like over 50 that the NBA's players today is gonna face. Every team has NBA players or NBA caliber players. It's a more global league. There's Sudan's just now getting a real facility over there. On top of them actually already having real players over there due to the globalness of the league, man.
The competition is just much better, Skip. Even in
in
the South Sudan game, you was like, man, a couple of those guys should probably be on the NBA roster. I'm saying like this, Skip, like if best player in the world. He's won 3 MVPs, and that's the Joker. They played against him in their first exhibition game.
Yep.
Now, the 92 Dream Team didn't have to face that. I'm saying like this, Skip, like if the Dream Team had to face Jordan, and they didn't have Jordan on their team, you'd be like, oh boy, like, come on. Like, come on now. You had guys, you had some NBA guys, Drazen Petrovic, Tony Kukoc. They was in the Olympics
Sabonis'
at the time.
dad played for Lithuania.
Yeah, Sabonis. He played.
Okay, so come on, man. Sabonis, he's not even better than baby Sabonis. Who did I say? Come on, let's run it back a little bit. This is crazy. Why would you even Tony Kukoc, a bench player? You trying to compare that to Yoke? You trying to compare that to Kumpo, Shea Gilgis? You know what I'm saying? Who you, Luca? You trying to compare that to these guys? You can't compare that to these guys, man. And that's not to mention that these guys, not only are they on these opposite teams, but they also have real NBA players with them on these opposite teams, along with the fact that these opposite teams, actually really get playtime together, at a high level throughout the year, because they actually play professional basketball. And they play professional basketball on a much higher level than they played, 30 and 40 years ago and things of that nature, man. All right. Just because of the improvement and evolution of the game, the popularity of the game increasing and it becoming a global sport. We have to keep saying it because it's facts, all right? You can't just go in a time machine and grab these guys and drop them into one of these games that in the complexity that it's played today, because of all of the improvements to the game that's been made because of these guys. Shout out to these older guys and things of that nature, man. But you can't drop a high level swordsman into a war these days. He's gonna get cooked. All right.
Oh, now you had guys. You had some NBA guys.
Run it back.
Have Jordan on their team. You be like, oh boy, like, come on, now. You had guys. You had some NBA guys. Drazen Petrovic, Tony Kukoc, they was in the Olympics
Sabonis
at the time.
Is bad, played for Lithuania.
Yeah, Sabonis is.
But that's the same thing now.
He played.
What's the difference now?
Dino Raja for Croatia.
Yeah.
See?
No.
Listen to what I said. Tony Kukoc was a really good player. Drazen Petrovic.
What's the difference now between back then? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Petrovic, what comparison does he have to the top Euros in the game today? What do you mean it's the same thing? Why are you saying that? And we got the bone to throw at Keyshawn Johnson's head top and saying that, he's picked a side that he has to debate on. It has to be one side or the other, and he chose the wrong side, and he's going to stick with the wrong side. And in doing so, it's just very, very, aggravating.
Petrovic was a really good player. I just said the USA had to play against the Joker, the MVP of the league. Then they're going to probably have to play a game to the runner-up to MVP, Shea Gilgeous. Like, you see what I'm saying? The competition is much better. Yeah, you want them to blow them out by 40 like the Dream Team.
Yeah, but at the same time, more more European players are coming over to play in the NBA now
because they're better now.
I don't know if it's
because
you
they're
play
better.
The league. I ain't gonna argue with you about
that. Because they're better now.
But it's because they're better because their mindset has changed. That I want to get a taste of the NBA better. Where we now are scouting more.
What is this? Is it because they're getting better, or is it because of the mind state of the Europeans wanting to come and get all of this extra money that they're getting out? Like, what are you talking about, bro? I mean, bro, buddy, like, what are you trying to say that they're not better? Like, what are you saying? Like, what are you saying if you're not fully agreeing with the fact that they're better? Like, is it better, or is it that they're better, or something else? What else could it be? This what you talking? Hold up, like this is disgusting.
Because their mindset has changed. That I want to get a taste of the NBA better. Where we now are scouting more intense scouting with the European players opposed to in the past.
You had a small sample.
So you're saying that there was Europeans that was of the caliber of these guys, these European players that's up now, but just because they didn't have scouts, that means, how when there was international play and the money was available in the USA for you to get the most money, and that the NBA is the highest caliber of basketball. I mean, if you're worth any of your salt, you're gonna at least give it a go, right? What do you mean the mind state changed? The money ain't changed relatively, compared to eras. The NBA always got the most money. What are you talking about, buddy? This is like, why are you talking about this when you talking what you talking?
Size, and a lot of European players came over as role players, really good role players. Like I said, Tony Kukoc, and one of my all-time favorites was Marciulionis for Golden State. These are the guys back in the early 90s. But these guys now, ever since Ginobili came in the early 2000s, are superstars now. They're not role players. They're coming in being superstars. And the latest version, Wembanyama, who some are like, wow, he could be probably one of the top 5 greatest players in the history of the game.
But is that because that's what the NBA has decided to do, opposed to years ago when they really wasn't saying, okay, let's go get international players. They get 1 or 2 here or there, but
they just weren't good enough. I mean,
come on.
You played against them.
They just weren't as good enough.
And it's like, why are you acting as if you don't know that and understand that? Oh, I didn't play against you. Played against them. Like, what are you saying? That you don't know that they're better by watching them play?
Because you had some guys, like I said, Marciulionis, Petrovic. Like, if there was more guys like that, I'm sure they would have. They set the tone for me. Sabonis. A lot of these guys, but you understand, a lot of the superstars over there didn't want to play in the NBA either.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they were superstars there.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I always say.
I mean, it still happens today. There's some superstars overseas now that still won't come.
Yeah, so I said that yesterday. I said it's an outlet, man.
Okay, so what you're saying is that, okay, so you are saying that there's star caliber players in the Euro leagues that are the caliber of Kumpo and this is crazy. Luca and Shea, but they just don't want to come into the NBA because they stars and they're not getting as much money. What? I mean, it's harder out here in this league, man. I mean, what? I don't understand. I don't get it, man. Just you think that you don't think that it's because they didn't want that pressure, not because they're good enough, right? I don't.
Man, this team will whoop the dream team.
I'm the main guy in Barcelona. I'm making 2.5, 3 million.
Yeah.
I can go in the clubs, I get whatever I want, I got my models, whatever. I come to the USA, and you want me to get you want to pay me 2 and you want me to be the ninth guy on the bench. You know what? Never mind. That's the mind. That's what I'm saying. The mindset. That's why I think.
Okay. So you're not even talking. So you're not talking about this level of player. You're not talking about the apex that we have in this league right now of European players. You're talking about, you're talking about, the Bogdanovic Danoviches, and you're talking about damn Wembanyama. Not Wembanyama, Lord have mercy. You're talking about Winyan Gabriel and things of that nature, right? You're talking about Dennis Schroeder and, come on, man. Like, that's not good enough when we're talking about the apex level of talent that we have as far as Euros go. And like we say, these Dennis Schroeders, and they are at least as capable of as most of the Euros in the league back then. You know what I'm saying? This is not even like we're not even talking about these apex predators, in the NBA that are Euros playing in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Keyshawn, you're capping, buddy.
In all, collectively, individually, collectively as groups, they may not be better than US. Individually, yes. But then even when you talk about Skip, your question was better. Only way I can really compare, regardless to errors, is margin of victory.
No.
I can compare because if I'm so much better than you, I should be wiping the floor with you.
I'm saying the competition. You're acting as if the competition doesn't matter. You're acting as if the players that they were playing against aren't higher caliber these days versus those days. It's okay. Anyway.
That's the only way I can compare. It doesn't matter.
If you playing against painters,
ugly American,
it doesn't matter. That's what he does. Like, this is what he does when he gets cooked. Nothing matters when he gets cooked. Like, competition don't matter in the sport. Um, only to people that's getting cooked. I mean, like, this is a sport where you compete against the best of the best, and if the best of the best of your time ain't the best of the best of somebody else's time or your team, and who you beat ain't better than this team, and who these people beat, you think people ain't gonna hold that over people's heads and things of that nature? Like, you gotta stop the cap. Anyway,
this is the only team, which is fascinating to me, and maybe it's because of LeBron and maybe because of Steph and a little bit of KD, is being compared to the 92 team.
You know why? You want to tell you why? Before you go over, because think about this. LeBron, arguably the GOAT, if not number 2.
Okay.
So they feature him. Curry, is he considered the greatest shooter ever? Probably so. Mm-hmm. KD, is he considered the greatest scorer ever? You got that on one team.
Okay.
Greatest player, greatest shooter, greatest scorer, all on one team.
But when I go back and I look back at the 92
what
team,
what can you say about 92? Greatest player. What?
Yeah, but you're making it sound as though.
Shout out to these 3 guys. KD, the chef, and Go James is just too much when we're talking about an offensive repertoire, as the defensive repertoire. When we're talking about these big 3 versus the 92 big 3 is better as well. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to KD and Go James. Their defense is better than Magic's and your weak ass GOAT. Clearly your weak ass GOAT's defense is, a farce, a fallacy. Shout out to Pip. He's gonna have to do a lot of the legwork, and it's not gonna be done. It can't be done. You know what I'm saying? Just too much offense. What is you think Charles Barkley's gonna do anything against the Brow? I don't think so, buddy. You boys is too small. Anyways, this is...
Charles Barkley and David Robinson.
No.
But that's the way it sounds.
No, not at all. No,
just because we set the narrative and identify it as the greatest, the greatest.
You can say Magic. You can say Magic.
Take a look at
greatest point guard.
Okay, take a look.
Yeah, go.
I was gonna say, take a look at the '96 team. Look at the '96 team and the 2012 team.
Pippen.
Man, 96.
Here it come.
Shaq.
You had Barkley,
Barkley,
David Robinson, GP, Grant Hill, Olajuwon, Stockton, Malone, Mitch Richmond,
Yeah, I played against them.
Reggie, Scotty, and Shaq. That's all I'm saying. But we have decided we're going to anoint the 2014.
Yeah, you ain't lying. That one had all Hall of Famers. All.
MVP, wait, hold on. All Hall of Famers and MVPs, right? So when you think about the '96 team, you had Shaq who's won an MVP, Malone who's won an MVP. You also had Charles, David, MVPs, Olajuwon, MVP. So when you start looking at it,
96 got an argument, huh?
That's all I'm saying. Hell, 2012 got an argument.
96 definitely got an argument.
What the fact of the matter is that the Dream Team may be the worst Olympic team when you get down to the get down of it, man. You hear what did you hear what I said? I said your 92 Dream Team needs to be put in a pipe because when it gets down to the get down, it's gonna end up being the worst Dream Team, the worst Olympic team. You know what I'm saying? Because when you actually, pick apart this, they actually have the worst lineup of talent in everything, and it's crazy when you actually get down to these rosters and look at it, and because of the Jordan Knight media and nostalgia, things of that nature, it just puts blinders on the people as to even making a suggestion, let alone breaking it down basketball wise. And it's funny, but it's not, because it's a very big psychological issue that these people have when they talk about these people that they feel a lot very very emotionally attached to, and they can't logically reason with somebody being better than them.
Yeah.
It's funny as hell.
2012 is,
and it's sad.
2012 is a young AD, Chris Paul,
Kobe.
James Harden, Kobe, KD, K Love, LeBron, Westbrook. I mean, they got an argument.
All right.
All better than the Dream Team.
In my all-time player rankings, I got Jordan 1, I got Magic 2.
Okay.
And Magic was 32 years of age in 1992, and he was coming off the HIV.
Missed a little bit of time.
Can't shoot, man. Anyways,
Right.
Okay.
Magic was good, though.
He was good. Well, good. Okay, what? You're gonna need better than that. You're gonna need more offense than that. You're gonna need more shooting than that. You're gonna need more mobility than that. Really,
He was fast as Bron.
Yeah, but Magic could still play, though.
He could still play. So
Can he play against this team right here? Can he play against Gold James and KD and the Chef, Bookie Bookham, Anthony Davis, True Drew, Tater, all right, Joel Embiid, buddy, Big Bam, huh? Like, seriously, shout out to Tattle Burton, like, shout out to DW. What are you talking about? We ain't even got D Mitch on the team. We ain't even got D Mitch on the team. We ain't even got Kyrie on the team, buddy. What are you talking about? How could you even speak this? He sat Joel Embiid, sat Tater. What are you talking about? I mean, listen, the caliber of player is not the same. All right?
Paul, here's the problem I had with even watching yesterday. If you gave a 29-year-old Michael Jordan a 20-point lead in the second quarter against South Sudan, it's going to be destruction.
It's going to increase.
I will agree with
It's going to
that.
go twice.
No, I
It's
agree
going to
with
go to
that.
40.
I agree with that.
Okay.
It's a mentality difference between
It's
that.
just-
How they gonna get up 20 against South Sudan when they shoot better, they move faster, they play more on the string, and these guys don't even know what it's like to play against zone defenses and things of that nature.
mentality difference. It's something I don't know how to describe it exactly, but I call it killer will.
Yeah,
killer will.
that team had a killer will.
Yeah.
That's it.
Killer will, and Magic had it.
There it goes. Killer will. Your willpower and things of that nature. Shout out to your goddamn willpower, Skip Bayless. But man, is your weak ass goat's willpower gonna make him shoot over 30% from the three? Because I mean, listen, he's one of the best shooters that you got. Shout out to Larry Bird. I mean, listen, man, not mobile enough to whether you gonna pick Bird or KD. I mean, you got to stop the cap. Shout out to Bird. It's not enough, man. Your weak ass goat's gonna get clamped. He can't get into the lane. Gonna build a wall on him because he can't shoot. He's gonna brick all day long. True Drew on his neck. I mean, you call for the switch. Here comes DW. You got the brow with the help and with KD and who's gonna chase around the chef, man? None of you boys is equipped to chase around the chef. I mean, look, you got to have somebody on KD or Goat James. Shout out to Pip. It can't happen. All right, it cannot happen. You got Charles Barkley out there as your main.
Bird couldn't really contribute that much, but he had it. He set tone for the team
100%.
because those guys are some bad you-know-whats. All three of those guys on setting the tone.
Yeah.
And South Sudan out-rebounded us 40-36. And I just don't think Patrick Ewing and David Robinson would allow that to happen because they're just too big and too long, and they played so.
Listen, no, they're not big. No, Patrick Ewing, 135 in his apex. The Bearden was 130. You know what I'm saying? AE 220 right now. So what are you talking about? The brow 250. Go James 260. So what do you mean? They gonna get pushed around and things of that nigga. What you talking about? Bam gonna be jumping over their head top, man. What you talking about? They can't move. They can't move, man. Ewan had ice on his knees, since he was a youngin. Shout out to Ewan. I mean, them boys can't move with these guys, man. It just is what it is, man. Who gonna get off? Who? I mean, come up, man.
Hard that they're not going to allow that to happen. They're not going to get out rebounded. I give you the competition wasn't nearly what it is today.
Okay,
but
that's all that matters.
All I know is when I think of LeBron and Steph and KD, I don't think of ultimate killer will, like ultimate, like Jordan-esque, like Magic.
What about basketball? When you're talking this killer will BS, man. What about basketball? What about what about something about the dream team that's gonna stop them, this trio basketball wise? What about that, Skip? You're talking this platitude BS about your goddamn killer will and 1v1 instinct and things of that nature. Who are you gonna what? Are you serious? Over KD?
And I know a lot of people don't remember Magic.
Jordan averaged 11 points, Skip, on USA team.
Come on.
But that year,
act like he could have double tripled that if he
Coulda, shoulda, woulda, Skip. I mean, like, don't want to hear that, buddy. Didn't do it. Actually really got players out here that's really doing it. Really got the most potent offensive weapon in NBA history in KD. Really got the best shooter in NBA history in the chef. Really got the GOAT James, LeBron James out here. You know what I'm saying? It's too much, man. All right? It's too much, And then, soon you think you got these guys clamped, and here comes Bookham and, Joel and Taylor. It's too much. All right? What you think they're not going to do anything. Anyways.
15 on the dream team.
Well, 15,
and Charles was 18. Charles was 18. And Charles Barkley could not to be trifled with either, when it came to physicality.
This is crazy.
Yeah, it's a different game now.
Okay.
But you think they just gonna come down and throw the ball to Charles and let him go bam, 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 and then score? No, that ain't happening. Nah.
But it ain't even about the physicality as much as it is what Skip is saying and what I'm saying. Mentality-wise.
Okay, but listen, the whole thing about the physicality thing is what you Jordanites with your Jordanite logic have been pushing for, 30 years and, 20 plus years, man, about, oh, you just couldn't handle the physicality of the league back then. You just couldn't. That's the main reason. That's the only thing that you really could maybe hang your hat on then until you go look at the film and, physical. No, you know, you can clear all of the physicality out just by the fact that, no zone defense. You got to stick to your man. So you can. There goes all of your physicality if you really want it gone, man. Get out of here.
That's what I'm saying.
But you know damn well in a game, man, they had to wipe the floor with y'all. The real game.
We played them in a real game. It was national television.
A real game.
It was a real game.
It meant nothing.
Man, every game you play.
Just downplay anything that cooks, that cooks Jordanite logic. It just doesn't matter to these people, man. You know what I'm saying? And they, Jordanite logic blows with the wind, even when the wind does not blow. Jordanite logic cannot be logical because of how emotional they is about MJ. Doesn't matter about basketball or anything. It's about their emotions and your emotions. You know what they do to your judgment and things of that nature. But you can't tell it to a Jordanite because they I don't know. It needs to be studied in a psychological classroom and things of that nature. Seriously, shout out to the Jordanites. Funny as hell. Shout out to Skip Bayless. Shout out to Paul Pierce giving these guys that cooking that they deserve, man. Shout out to Keyshawn. Keeps on Talks and Thompson, debating the topic that he knows he should damn well not be debating, man. But when you, like we say, when you have these debate formats and things of that nature, you are made to pick a side, and sometimes you are forced to pick a side that you don't necessarily agree with, and you get to sounding all insane. Shout out to Skip. His insanity is, well known and predictable. Shout out to Skip.